Hey guys,
Hi, Vince.
how are you?
I'm fine.
Oh no. I've been, yeah, when I woke up and saw your email, I got triggered. Um, Mainly because it's nowhere near big enough, the fine. Yeah, yeah. Are you, I think,
Well, I haven't even heard about the crime yet.
I think are you streaming the video, the audio already? I think I can hear it on YouTube.
All right, so yeah, I thought I had the audio turned off for these guys, but we'll jump into it. So maybe you guys might have heard my hand being tipped there, but anyway, we'll jump back over. We have a supporter stream today. We're talking about this YouTube FTC fine, and how's everybody doing today? Man, it's just one of these crazy days, I guess. Oh,
Doing pretty well.
good.
The swelling on my face from having my tooth pulled has gone down finally.
That's good.
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
You said you had to visit the dentist.
Yeah. Are
Yep.
you on solid food yet or not yet?
Yeah, I just started again yesterday, but I feel like I'm still talking like a ventriloquist without moving my lips.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you kind of get into the habit of doing that, and then, you never really know what's
Yep.
going on, so, All right, so we got Hydra Knight MC. Greetings. How's it going there, Hydra? It switched links finally. Windows PC crapped out too many times. Using Linux Mint right now. Customized to look like a Mac with dark mode. Very cool, very cool. So Vince has been triggered. He'll tell you why when we get on there. Mark, greetings. Paul, hello to you. How are you? Paul says, Vince, why aren't you sleeping?
I literally was only a few moments ago.
So Mark says, probably letting the pedos run wild. Ooh. All right. Well, literally just woke up a while ago. All right. All right, so of course the discussion, YouTube and the FTC. So what are your initial thoughts? Now, Dan said you haven't heard of this yet, right?
Yeah, my thoughts are if they really did do a crime, the price is not high enough for what they paid.
Yeah. So the question is, did they do a crime? And then Vince, what's your thoughts?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I need an explanation as to what Coppa is first, I think, and
So-
what it entails.
Sure. So Coppa is the Child Online Protection and Privacy Act. So in the United States. So basically what it means is that a company cannot willingly collect data on a child under the age of 13 without express written consent. And this is where part of this is coming from, is this fact that with a lot of these services, you're getting like your family plans from Google, your family plans for Amazon. All these family plans are basically the parents are signing over the right for the company to collect the data. And so what the allegement is here is that YouTube has been collecting data on people under the age of 13, utilizing that in violation of Coppa. That is what the allegement happens to be. So that's kind of a brief summary on the ruling. So what do you guys think? Does that clarify that?
Hurry up, find some more Scooby-Doo. We're running low. That's what I get out of it if they're spying on kids, you know, and
It sort of clarifies things a little, but I'd still like someone with more legal know-how to explain, the intricacies of the legislation. Like what are the maximum penalties? What kind of penalties can be given to somebody or some company?
Sure. Let's go ahead and look at. I have an article here pulled up from the New York Times. Let's see what they have to say.
well, I can see your point with this too, because parents need to actually monitor their children a little closer if they're watching YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's go ahead and read through the article, then I'll kind of say what my point is, because I kind of disagree I disagree that YouTube specifically did something wrong. I mean, passively, maybe, but the law, to my understanding, is actively. A company has to knowingly be collecting this data. So let's go ahead and have a look at the article. Now, Google agreed on Wednesday to pay a record $170 million fine. This is the highest Coppa violation fine ever, and make changes to children's privacy on YouTube. As regulators said, the video site had knowingly and illegally harvested personal information from children and used it to profit by targeting them with ads. Now, some of the stuff that's come out today is one of the biggest channels on YouTube is Ryan's Toys. I think it's Ryan's Toys or Ryan's Toys and Games, whatever it is, Ryan's Toys. So this is a little kid who unboxes a lot of toys. And what the FTC says about this is that a lot of almost every video has at least one sponsored ad in there. So at least one sponsored ad goes into there. And with that one sponsored ad, they flashed a little notices in advertising, but the average age of somebody watching that channel is certainly under 13 and usually under 8 or 9, which they say, hey, that person cannot understand the difference between an advertising and a kid having fun with a toy. And I understand that point. All right. But then it says that they're knowingly and illegally harvesting personal information from children and used to profit them by targeting them with ads. This is the part where I get a little hairy as to, did they willingly and knowingly collect this data? How did they willingly and knowingly collect it? Technically, you're not supposed to have a YouTube account before you're 13. So how are you willingly collecting data on people that you know are under the age of 13?
Tom, these videos are targeted at almost preschooler kids. So correct. Why have the preschooler kids videos on there if you're not going to have an audience that's to watch it?
Correct. And there's where I sort of agree. So I'm on the fence. I can be swayed here. For that reason, you're right. And this is why one of the things YouTube has said they're going to do is all of this type of children's content will be taken off of YouTube and put on a separate domain exclusively for this type of content. That's one of the stipulations that they're agreeing to. That way, we have basically an adult version of YouTube and a kid version of YouTube. So the kid version of YouTube collects a lot less data, it doesn't do targeted ads, it'll do contextual ads, things like that. What do you think, Dan?
We have a movement that I've been noticing over the past year where more and more people are shying away from their TV sets, where these children ads could be present and ads for adults and everything else. Me, you, half the people watching us at least probably watch more YouTube than they ever had before over their TV set.
Correct. Yeah. So what I'm wondering in my mind is, was Coppa written to collect information regarding toys or services or websites? And that's where the fuzziness for me comes into play. Because if we're talking about a child's toy, like these smart toys for children that Germany has banned, creepy as all get out, completely agree, get them out of here. There should be no data collection on those. They shouldn't even, toys for children should not even be connected to the internet. And then specifically children's smart watches, children's smart wearables, also highly questionable. But where do we cross the line when we're talking about a website that is accessible from a family computer? That's where I have to say, at what point in time is it up to the parents to know what your kids are doing on the internet? Obviously, 13 and up, a little bit harder, but 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, do we just give them free reign? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'd be the first one to say, and I've said it before, that if you're not monitoring your kids with what they're doing online, then you're not really doing your job properly. I'd be the first to say that. But this is still a company that is collecting data to serve specifically ads targeted at children, and that's what the algorithm says that they're doing. So somebody wrote that algorithm to do that.
Yeah. So with that point, if there is an algorithm in YouTube that determines a person is a child under the age of 13 and is using the data in that algorithm to push an ad on that child, on that viewer, I completely agree with you. This is a violation. So maybe these YouTuber unions are right. Hey, we need to see what's in this algorithm, you know?
Let's think of it while we're talking algorithms here. Let's think about it from the algorithm's point of view. Number one, in order for the child to actually get childlike ads, the algorithm has to know the household child is on the computer. That would require that the household child have his own login ID.
Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, Dan, because we're talking about videos that are aimed at preschool kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but how does the system know a preschool kid at that moment is in front of that computer unless he's logged in as a particular individual that's known that's supposed to be shown that content?
I
don't know. I mean, who else would be watching that?
I think I agree with Vince on this one, because if you're pushing out a channel like Ryan's Toys, clearly it's going to be aimed. You're going to have your rejuvenile adults. If you haven't read that book by Christopher Knoxon, definitely read that book called Rejuvenile, which are adults who are just deeply attracted to children's toys and things like that. You'll have some of those. You'll have some of the underbelly watching it because there's children on it, but which is bad. But the widest audience you're going to have is going to be children. And
okay, you're basing it on who logs in and exactly what they're watching. No, I'm
basing it on the content of the video. I think that's what Vince is doing as well, because this
the video triggers the ads for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay, I tried to beat it up all the other ways, so that's got to be it.
Yeah, so it's got to be a combination of the thing knows who it is. So YouTube knows who you are based on your IP. It will know who you are based on your login. It could know who you are based on the time you're on the computer and the time you're on these things. We don't know what's in this black hole of an algorithm. And that's, I think, what part of the problem is. I don't know.
I need to go watch some children's videos and figure this out.
Yeah. Just don't get caught up in the Elsa Gate. That was a different level of stuff we're talking about, you know?
Oh, okay.
So we've had, this is basically the third incident, the third YouTube controversy surrounding children on YouTube. This is the third. So for the recap, the first one would be called the Elsa Gate. What was happening here is people were utilizing kid-friendly keywords and targeting videos that they knew would land in front of children watching YouTube. So you'd start with some, fairly harmless Ryan's Toys video, which are, other than the advertising, very harmless. It's a 7 or 8, however old the kid is, opening toys. Never seen one of his videos, but he just opens toys and talks about the toys, okay? The only potential bad part is the marketing and the advertising. But what was happening is people were gaming the algorithm, figuring out a kid would start on this, and then of course a kid doesn't sit here and stare at the screen like we might. They'll put the thing on and they'll kind of watch it, but they're playing with a toy and they'll kind of watch it, and then this autoplay would trigger it, and then these guys would get these highly disturbing things, which would be, children's characters like Spider-Man and Elsa and all these other children's characters that would get into these highly compromising and highly questionable, clearly adult situations, but they were being displayed to people that YouTube figured were kids, even on the kids' curated channels. That was the first of the controversies surrounding YouTube and kids. The second of these is the Matt's What It Is situation, where Matt's What It is just some bitter fool who tried to create the most disgusting, god-awful videos ever on YouTube. If you watch any of his stuff, it was horrible. And he couldn't hack it because his stuff was crappy. And so then what he then started to do is try to get out there and get all of these other people hurt by finding examples of people, which were fairly rare examples of people who were pointing out things. So the biggest channel affected by this was a Christian woman who her son was in gymnastics, and would have videos of the kid in gymnastics. And I have my own viewpoint about that. Like, you shouldn't have your 6-year-old boy in tights doing stretches on YouTube. That's my thought. What do you think, Vince? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that as well. All that creepiness that was going on with those videos. Yeah. I mean, that's what triggered me initially to really be limiting my kids' exposure to online stuff, especially on YouTube, because you just don't know what the frig is out there. Yeah. And there was an article I was reading way back when. I brought it up again, and I'll just read up. There's a quote from a guy called Josh Golwin, who is the director of Campaign for Commercial Free Childhood. Mm-hmm. And he says that algorithms are not a substitute for human intervention. And when it comes to creating a safe environment for children, you need humans. And I think that comes down to the crux of the issue as well. Is when you let an algorithm decide what to serve children, what to serve them next as a video, how to collect the data, then you're into really, really troublesome waters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. And of course, that group also just launched. Is it a lawsuit they just launched against YouTube or something? I think it was a lawsuit they filed against YouTube as well. And so that's kind of what the case is there. So that was the second way, and this is the third, of course, which is just kind of dealing with YouTube providing, basically targeting kids with ads for things, and what the allegement is that they know these are kids and they are willingly pushing ads to people that they know are kids. And if that is the case, then if that is the case, then this person is you know what I'm getting at here. I'm sorry, I had to deal with a spammer, a bot. So my apologies.
I seen you deleted something.
Yeah, it was somebody who's jumping on a bunch of. So
you got him before I could.
Yeah, he'll probably jump back up. I just timed out. If he comes back, I'm gonna just ban him entirely. But all right. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts. So where I'm on the fence on this is. The thing is that this is a website, and I think anytime we have just an open-ended website on the internet, I think it's more up to the parents to regulate what's going on. But I could be swayed. So the plan here is to take all of this stuff that is supposedly for kids and put that on their own separate domain, which has no data collection, no other tracking, all ads are contextual. Nothing is being collected or targeted towards kids, which honestly I think would be an okay thing. There were some questions and some issues about what that would be as well. What do you guys think about that? And then let's go ahead and jump in and look at comments here for a little bit too. So
I take your point, Tom, about trying to keep YouTube free and open as an environment. Mm-hmm. But I think that the trouble comes when they are trying to make money off people's videos. Correct. By serving ads. I think that's where the trouble comes.
Mm-hmm. You come down to the balance again. Let's say when I was a kid, every Saturday morning up till noon, every station was loaded with cartoons. Those cartoons were all funded by ads for toys. Mm-hmm. I mean, where do you draw the line? Do we give YouTube not that privilege that the TV used to have?
Yeah. Well, I think
this goes either way.
The difference is, okay, so there's two differences here, and that the partnership for the ad-free childhood that Vince quoted from here has part of this. Now, that organization has always been out trying to say, hey, we need to remove every commercial targeted towards kids. I would actually
So-
probably buy their
That's
argument
like
in a
telling the
way.
Cartoon Network that they can no longer have cartoons for kids on the Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I mean, here's where we're slightly different. Over here, our main children's channel is from our public broadcaster, so it is government funded, so there are no
Okay.
ads, and they
That's
have an app which is where I let my kids watch stuff. So that's where we're somewhat more fortunate then.
Okay. All
I
right.
can't believe I'm playing an advocate for Google here. As much as as much as I'm down
Yeah.
on.
Now, the second point here, though, is it okay to have a contextual ad as long as it's not a targeted ad? Because that's, I think, the greater, like targeted ads, I think are a greater danger for all of us. A kid can be swayed way more by a targeted ad if Google knows exactly who they are, and by who they are, exactly what their preferences are, and can use an algorithm to target them an ad. I think that is far more dangerous than a contextual ad. Here's a cartoon about Legos. Let's play a Lego ad. I find that less disturbing.
So you're going for the fact, okay, let's say it's targeted more than just your basic ad, and it's little Shelly here likes Barbie dolls. YouTube knows she likes Barbie dolls, so she sees the whole Ken and Barbie lineup throughout her viewing of YouTube. Yeah. Do I have this correct?
And you bet that Google would charge much more money for that ad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
do I got this correct in assuming that's how they're targeting them?
Yeah, as long as they know that the person likes Barbies. Because, so I'm sorry, I'm going to get highly offensive for the SJWs for a second. Let's say we have a little boy and we have a little girl. And the little boy, I'm sorry, generally little human beings with male anatomy tend to like toy guns and G.I. Joes and figures. Little people with female anatomy tend to like more dolls. There are some crossovers and some exceptions. We can appreciate that. But as a overarching generality, that's kind of what you get. If YouTube knows that the person watching is a little girl and feeds a Barbie ad based upon knowing it's a little girl, that has a greater impact than feeding a general ad about whatever comes up, a G.I. Joe or whatever. That's, I mean, what was around when I was a kid, you know. And so if they don't know who the kid is and they push out an ad that has paid for some degree of sponsorship, I find that less problematic than if they know exactly who it is and feeds an ad that would be greater tendency to cause them to buy something. That's kind of what I was getting at, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's more specific description of exactly what they're trying to do to our children. And part of it's the parents' fault for letting them get so engaged with the internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the other part is bad Google, man. You're taking advantage of us again.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if there's a good solution. Let's have a look at the comments and see if anybody's giving some comments. Go ahead, Vince. Well, I'll look for some.
I know. Look at the comments first, because I'm still forming my thoughts.
All right. Yeah, this is a hard one. I'm not like on either side exactly at this point. Hello, William. How's it going there? Say absolutely none of the $170 million that fine will be going to children affected by the privacy infringement. Actually, I think some of it does. Some of it, I think, goes towards, I forget. There is a breakdown. Let's see if the article actually has a breakdown on that. I did see a breakdown somewhere.
I found something else much more interesting as well. Not just about this fine, but about all the fines that have basically been levied and how much of a drop in the ocean that really is for these companies. So if you're talking about fines in general, I was also triggered about that too.
Yeah.
Let me find that article and I'll post it. Okay. The funny thing was, I think it referred to both Google's fine and Facebook's recent fine as well.
Yeah.
And on the same day that those fines were issued and basically the problem was settled, both these companies, their stock prices went up because they were now out of trouble.
Yeah.
Based on just paying a measly fine.
Yeah, which in that fine was a fraction of a month's, income.
Yeah. On the same day that the fines were announced, wow, their stock prices actually went up. So that basically it was a good thing for the company to pay this fine so they'd be out of trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, they got enough money left. Let's
Yeah,
reinvest.
There
exactly.
you go. Yep. So CJ says, yeah, parents need to help be responsible for terrible parenting, which is an epidemic, which I agree. Kids are getting sneakier thanks to technology. That's a point to be reckoned with. How much is it that kids are getting around their parents? And like a 13-year-old, I think, is getting around their parents a whole lot more than an 8-year-old. An 8-year-old, you probably can keep a better rein where they are. All of their attempts to be sneaky are pretty easy to spot. A 13-year-old can get a little bit more conniving in figuring that out. Yes. Age requirements are useless. Yeah. I mean, and CJ says, do you mean kids actually lie when they're asked to click whether or not they're over 18? That's right, man. Well, I mean, now they don't say, are you over 18? They're like, put in your birthday. We're going to get trickier. Well, you just add 10 years, you know. Or 12 if you're still at 8, you know.
Yeah, we never did that when we were younger, did we? No.
Oh, never. Never.
When I was 7 years old, there was no internet. There was none of this. There's maybe 5 stations total on the TV set.
Yeah.
My parents gave me a watch and they told me be home by this date, and I had the whole free reign of the neighborhood for the whole afternoon, and nobody knew exactly where I was.
Yep. And we survived. Very few of us got lost in the middle, you know?
Yes.
But all the parents in the neighborhood knew all the kids, so it wasn't hard to run into someone that knew you.
Yeah. And those were better days. Like, I find it really weird where I live right now, because where I live right now, there's literally kids play outside together here. It's weird. I haven't seen it in a long time. I haven't seen it in over a decade, but the kids in this neighborhood actually get outside and play together. They ride their bikes up and down, they scream and they yell, and that's cool, you know?
Yeah, we've got some pretty good neighbours where we are as well. We've got some neighbours with kids are very similar ages to ours, and we often go over to their place and hang out, which is cool.
Yeah, that's good. And we need that. We need more of that neighborness. DT's on.
Yeah.
Greetings, DT. How's it going there? Google scares me more than Microsoft ever did. At least MS is trying to turn a new leaf. I don't know. Is Microsoft trying to turn a new leaf, or they're just being sneaky? I don't know.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
Age requirements are just a cop-out. Anyone knows that kids will find a way to watch things they're not supposed to. That's right. Oh, yeah. CJ was taking the bus to Cubs games in Chicago when he was 8, you know. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, yes, the My Little Pony fellas. They're called bronies, CJ. They're called bronies. All right. To be fair, you don't need to log into YouTube in order to watch videos unless something has changed. And that is certainly one of the things. It's just they don't know as well who you are in that case. But they still kind of have an idea. Okay. 3 times YouTube collected data on children. Ew. Yeah, that's right. Elsa Gate sounds like some Elsa mixer crisis. That's right. Us Linuxy guys. Okay. Yeah, don't film children and expose them on YouTube. And yeah, that's right. Jesse, let's see. How's it going, Jesse? Rocking out some of that ill influential kind of music for the night. All right, man. $600 MIDI pickup for the guitar, though. Sweet. Oh, I lost my place. Okay. Parenting is the first issue to target. Chicago's South Side is an example of that. Too many parents are not involved with their kids' lives in any smart way until they're already in a gang or a prison. Yeah, this is one of these things. It's like heart disease or other major chronic illnesses. Once you got it, it's a little too late. You know, it's like, ooh, I had a heart attack. I had to clean up my diet. And you should have cleaned up your diet 20 years ago. You know. But yeah, we need to take things. I think random friendly kid ads are fine, but no targeting. What do you think about that? All right, let's hash out this ad thing. Should we have ads at all, Like no ads at all, or should we allow general ads, or should we allow very specific ads? I think all of us here would agree very specific ads are probably not good, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay,
No, no
I don't mind. I don't mind the ads if it maintains the viability of a platform. I mean, that's
Well,
fine.
it's either we get the ads or we have to pay for YouTube out of our own pocket. So
Yeah.
there's, somehow you got to have a friendly, happy medium with the ads, so and that are not targeted to individual. My ads I get because they know my age. I keep getting life insurance ads, like they're going to come to the door and knock me off or something.
Yeah, the day you sign for life insurance, you're going to get to.
I got three different companies trying to sell me ads on YouTube before the video starts.
Boy. Kids are on the web way too much, Peabody says. I agree with that. Yeah. Let's see. Live in a small town. Something about this town, too. Probably the highest birth rate in Ontario, because no matter where I go, any town I meet people here... from here, running population is 75,000. Right?
One thing about ads give us a window into new late breaking stuff that's released for us to purchase if we want it. Without the ads, you wouldn't know this stuff comes up and goes on sale unless you spend a lot of time walking in stores and these products make it into stores.
Yeah. That's actually my argument for I want to see contextual ads. I don't want to see targeted ads. Because targeting ads, they're trying to manipulate me to buy something. A contextual ad means that, suppose like I bought a new microphone recently, and with the new microphone purchase, I wanted to examine what are the different types of microphones, what are people using, what type of stuff. If I go on and watch 3 or 4 videos on microphone reviews and I want to see the different microphones, what people are saying, I would rather see an ad before that video for a microphone than an ad for something that Google thinks that I might want to buy, because I really don't like to buy anything, but still the targeted ads feel like manipulation. But if it's a contextual ad, at least it's related to something I'm watching, and that makes more sense, because if I'm not interested in it, I probably wouldn't be watching it.
Yeah, it makes more sense. You watched an ad for a microphone before a microphone review started playing on YouTube.
That'd be freaky.
Yeah.
Well, how about if you're watching a video on Linux and they try and serve you an ad for fry pans?
That's I mean, I get that. I mean, only if it's a Gentoo video, Gentoo video, they give you the fry pans, The recall calls weak for Google business listings. Yeah, are those legit or not? I don't know. The good product can't even afford ads. Try searching. Good products can't even afford the ads. All right. William, unaffected by advertising. I bet you are not unaffected by advertising. A lot of psychological studies indicate that advertising, like the only people I know of who are not seriously affected by advertising are people who really don't like stuff at all. If you don't like stuff at all, that's probably likely you're not unaffected by advertising. Like, try and sell me a razor, It ain't gonna happen. Because I use a double-edged straight razor. Those things last forever. I have 100 razor blades and I make my own shaving cream. What are you gonna sell me? I have a lifetime supply of what I need. You ain't gonna sell me no Gillette. Not that I'd buy Gillette anyway.
Are you talking about the old-fashioned straight razor that folds out, or the safety razor
where
you
it's
put
the
the
safety,
blade
the
in?
double-edged safeties. Yeah.
I've heard you're not the only person that's mentioned that them things work really great. I've had other people in the YouTube chat bring them up.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And the blades are super cheap for them.
Yeah. So I bought, if you buy them at the local store, they're a little bit more expensive, but you buy them online. I bought 100 razor blades for it and it cost me $5. And I go through about a razor blade maybe once a month, maybe once every other month, because I shave with it once a week. I use an electric razor the rest of the time. So I just use an electric razor most of the week. Shave one clean close shave once a month, and that's, what I do.
Wow, because I keep buying the plastic triple edge jobs. They last about a week, and then you got to pitch them.
Yeah, too expensive. Too expensive.
The dollar,
Now,
if they're about $1 a week.
mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, my safety razor cost me maybe $10, maybe $20, I forget, and that came with 5 blades. And I bought 100 razors for it for $5. So, of course,
how many shaves do you get out of it before you got to change it?
8 to 10, maybe.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Of course.
Let's get back to Google. Enough about
if you're
razors.
Shaving like every day or every other day now, then it'll be a little bit more. But
yeah, I shave every single day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use an electric razor.
Cactus that starts growing.
Oh yeah, I'm a hairy dude. This is a little known fact, but I did the privacy video I did last Sunday, right, when I had the picture there of me as a fat guy. I actually had a full beard in that picture that was shaved out, that was cut out of that picture. But no, I mean, when I get to grow a beard, I go grow a beard. I'm a hairy dude, man. So yeah, but I use.
I'm the opposite. I can't grow a beard if I tried.
Oh yeah, grow a beard and use 1 or 2 per year. Yeah, I stopped growing beards when my mother likes guys with facial hair. I'm like, nah, that's too much for me.
Vince, you don't live in super cold climates, so your face is adjusted for your place that you live.
Really? I thought it was genetics.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it doesn't get below 0 C there, does it?
No, it doesn't. So I don't really need a beard to keep me warm. No.
It does frequently here.
All right, let's go ahead and have a look at a little bit more of this article here, and then we can go and talk about razors again for a while. All right, so the settlement was approved at a 3-2 vote. YouTube also agreed to create a system that asks video channel owners to identify the children's content they post so that targeted ads are not placed in such videos. YouTube must also obtain consent from parents before collecting or sharing details, like a child's name or photos. Now, this is the second part of this, and that this is where a lot of these kid-focused YouTube channels are going to suffer a lot. Because there's going to be a lot of extra regulations. One of the questions is how are gaming channels going to be impacted? You talk about Minecraft. Minecraft has 2 target audiences: little kids and adults who still wish they were little kids. No, it's adults and children, and so it asks. Okay, well, you're playing Minecraft, therefore the algorithm determines you're a kid's video. So are these YouTubers that do Minecraft going to start dropping multiple F-bombs in each video just to make sure it's not kid-friendly, And then how do you handle other things, comments and likes, dislikes, things like that on some of these channels. Hopefully it won't affect Switch to Linux, but never know with the way YouTube does things. I don't know. MoVE is the latest enforcement action taken by regulators in the United States against technology companies for violating users' privacy, indicating the Trump administration's willingness to aggressively pursue the powerful corporations. Follows a $5 billion privacy settlement between FTC and Facebook over how they handle data. Critics of the settlement include Senator Edward Markey, described the $170 million penalty as a slap in the wrist for one of the world's richest companies. All right, so Vince, this is the part that triggered you, is how small it is.
No,
so now
it's not a slap on the wrist.
Yeah,
it's not a slap on the wrist. It's like a flick on the cheek. It's just
no kidding.
Yeah, it's like go stand in the corner. All right, so let's just assume for just a second that they're completely guilty, they're completely wrong, and they have to pay a fine. Vince, how much should they have to pay if that were the case?
I mean, it should be like, I think you've said it before, it should be a percentage of their revenue.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I said,
So maybe
if it's
20%, I don't know.
if it's a truly willingly violating the law and profiting, it should be 3 times the amount that they made. If it is an accidental, oh crap, this just happened, we're fixing it as fast as we can, it should be the amount that they made. And I pull those numbers out of biblical lawmaking in the book of Leviticus. If a person accidentally caused property damage, they were only liable for replacing the property damage or the price of the property damage. If it was a crime, an actual willing violation, then at that point in time, it had to be a 3-time payback for what was broken. So, and
I think all corporate officers and board members should also have to pay a fine along with it.
Yeah, there you go. That would make sure that
if it's something that's going on and they're getting away with it, and it's of the latter that you said, where they, or the former you said, as they were actually doing this, they were willingly knowing to doing it, and they were not doing anything to stop it. The board members, the officers, they all need to cough up some of their personal income.
And the key thing out of this is that the people who control the money, the people who know what's going on with these companies, they see these fines as just the cost of doing business. And so therefore, because the problem has now gone away, these people have now more confidence in these companies, and so the stock prices have gone up. That's the key thing.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they write it off on their taxes. Cost of doing business.
Exactly.
Well, we know that's the case because Facebook set aside. They budgeted $5 billion for their fine. You know. Let's see. Children's advocates who lodged their own privacy complaint against YouTube with the FTC last year said that Google had simply agreed to abide by a child's privacy law it was already obligated to comply with. Coppa prohibits operators of online services from collecting personal data like home addresses from children under 13 without a parent's verifiable permission. And this is why, as parents, you need to not set up your family for Google Family Home, Amazon Family Home. Anytime you see family attached to an online service, they are asking you to sign over your Coppa rights. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because that's what gets them around it. And by the way, here's a fun little aside. If you want to track your child's whereabouts without this kind of stuff, there's actually a module in Nextcloud that will collect the data. It's the same thing. It's the same thing that Google Maps does. If you enable location services for Google Maps, then Google Maps can track where you go. You can actually pull up Google Maps with your account and see everywhere you've been. If you didn't know it was doing that, it's the creepiest thing you'd ever see. But if you wanted that information, you can get it. Well, Nextcloud actually has that integration, which you can host on your own platform. So you can have your child's smartphone, which your child shouldn't have a smartphone, but if he does, you can enable that Nextcloud app on there, and you can actually monitor where your child goes on your own personally hosted Nextcloud instance that never goes to one of those Google services. So that's one of those options you have. It would be nice if there were other tools out there you could do that with if you wanted to. But again, we survived being let loose on the world, and I think we were better for it. That's my thought.
I think it's a slightly different world now. The world's changed a bit now, I think.
The world has really changed.
But is it safer or less safe?
I think it's less safe.
Okay.
I think less safe as well.
Okay.
I think that's because the heart of the humans have kind of changed a little bit, and they're greedier and they want to do more harm. And, you know, people when I was very young were loving. There wasn't so much greed. Things were more discussed and talked about, not all bottled up and put away until it explodes.
I think what I see is that there's less of a sense of community and less of a sense of family when you're dealing with extended family. People these days are working so much, such long hours, just trying to provide for their family that you lose sight of everyone else around you, your neighbors, your family. And I think that's to the detriment of bringing up kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some people,
Exactly.
in fact, say I don't really want to bring more kids in this world, but there'd be nothing wrong with adopting some that are already here. The wonderful line: if you have not seen the movie Martian Child, go watch Martian Child. It's just a wonderful film. John Cusack, and basically he's an author, and his wife has died, and they were thinking about adopting a kid, and he decided that she would probably want him to do that, and so he says, I wouldn't want to bring another world into the child, but he says, what's wrong with loving one that's already here? And that's a great line and a great premise for a movie. It's a very fabulous family-friendly movie if you're looking for a nice movie. But
Add it to my list.
I agree with that. What's that? Oh, yeah, add it to
I've
your
added
list.
it to my list.
It's very good. It's an excellent movie. I can't recommend it enough. I kind of like John Cusack, too. He's a good actor. Let's see. Okay, this Coppa, the strongest federal consumer privacy statute in the United States, gives Trade Commission the authority to level fines up to $42,000 for each violation. So there's your limit for violation. YouTube has been a site for people over 13, but with a boom in family content and the rise of shared devices, the likelihood children watching without supervision has increased. And that's kind of where I sit on the fence with this. At what point in time do we... I don't know. Maybe I agree we need to have just a complete children or family version of it. But that might mean everyone... I mean, what if that makes YouTube become a login paywall where... I mean, not necessarily a paywall, but a login wall. You have to be logged in so they know, can I feed children's content or feed only adult content? I don't know. Let's have a look at some more comments here. Gladly use YouTube Premium over an ad blocker, but it's not available in your country yet. All right. The Fishman Triple Play Wireless comes with Windblows software. Probably play with it soon. But yeah, LMMS and trying some other stuff. All right. Grow a beard and use 1 or 2 razors per year. That's when we were talking about the razors. Yeah, Dan, you're going to start getting razor ads because Google's listening to everything we're doing, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah, right.
But hey, at least it won't be life insurance ads, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be getting hair growth products.
Oh, yeah, you'll be here. Here's some Rogaine.
Yeah.
Don't control kids too much. Don't hide life from them either, but be persistent to always give them perspective on things they see out there. That's a good point, CJ. Because I think that in many cases, and this happens way more than it should in Christian circles, because modern Christian circles have kind of become this isolated, sanitized world. Let's keep our kids away from the evil of the world. And that's a problem because we are not called to be isolated from the world. We're called to go out into the world, And so it's very important that, we don't over-isolate them. We don't overprotect them. In fact, overprotecting their immune system causes them to get more diseases. Versus if you let them play in the mud, they tend to get sick less because your immune system works better. So... yeah, and that works on social areas as well. We don't want them to be running down the, down the poopy streets of San Francisco, stepping in human parts and tripping on drug needles. But at the same time, we don't want to completely isolate them from all that because eventually they are going to leave your house. And when they leave your house, if they don't have any experience with the real world, you're going to lose them instantly. No one listens to the experts, but everyone believes the fools. Well, you know, honestly, Mark, I have to say, generally the experts are the fools, and the non-experts have the wisdom we need. Have a look at the book, The Wisdom of the Anointed, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So after car crash, therefore car crashes are safe. That's good logic. Human hearts have hardened definitely. Yes, they have indeed. I have a kid, probably more than marriage at this point, but I don't want to have to put one into the world today. You can always adopt, or actually, CJ, look at fostering kids too. That'd be a great way to help out in the world.
Yeah, the world needs more foster carers. I completely agree with that.
The thing is, over in my neck of the woods, it's really hard to get a kid to foster care for. You have to go through a lot of hoops, and
yeah,
it's pretty much the way it is.
They make it
everywhere.
really difficult.
Yeah. Which, that's actually good. I think probably the more difficult they make it, the less chance you have of somebody abusing their kids. Because there was, in the early days of the foster care system, there were a lot of people who were just in it to abuse kids, and we don't need any of that. We need to make sure that people are very, very prepared for it. Because it's like one of the challenges that you get in that world is you get thinking, oh, I'll get a little kid, it'll be great, it'll be awesome. But you don't realize that you generally have not the best kids. You know, that's one of the things I learned in doing youth mentoring. You know, the kids that needed the youth mentoring were the ones that needed the youth mentoring bad. They didn't necessarily come from the greatest of families, and you were dealing with a lot of baggage. So, you know, I'd say if you're curious as to what you're going to get into, go join Big Brothers Big Sisters for a while first, and you'll get a real world experience. You'll see some stuff that will break your heart. You know.
And I believe more people don't do this these days because they're all tied down with their jobs. The mother works, the father works, they have a kid of their own. The extra time to take on another one just doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's
where I've seen more of the foster care kids when I was a kid, more of them were in normal homes with you know, their adopted parents.
Yeah, so my wife actually works in the area of child protection and foster care, and so what she finds mainly is that you get a lot of foster carers who are older and their own kids have grown up and moved out of home, so they have a bit more time. But yeah, they do vet them quite heavily. But because there's such a shortage of carers, you often find that some foster carers have 5 or 6 kids that they just have to have because there's no other place to put them, and that's a terrible situation. So she works a lot on recruiting foster carers, so that's a lot of what she does.
Yeah. Well, I have a friend that has, I think they have 6 kids now, and they have adopted all of them from the foster kids. And I think 4 of, actually, I think 4 of them are related to each other. Like they have the same mother, different fathers, and 2 of them are related to each other. Which is very fascinating.
That's beautiful. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. DT says kids are overrated. Happy just raising my cat. My cat agrees. Where's my cat?
You have to have a substantial income to take care of that many kids. Also,
I'll be the first to tell you how expensive kids are, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing, the good thing is though is you do get a stipend for those kids. So. Like all of at least here, all of their medical is 100% covered. All of you'll get a stipend for food, you'll get a stipend for clothes, and there's other resources where you can get other things that you need. So there's a lot of that. CJ is considering being a big brother currently. CJ, please go call and start the process. When I
reckon
went
CJ would be
through
an
it,
awesome
it took about a month or so to finish all the process. Definitely go do it. It is absolutely one of the best things you're ever going to do in your life. Let's see. Any other comments? I'll go ahead and just drop in now. I will be streaming on my other channel in 1 hour from now. We were going to be talking about what is the purpose of the parables. So that's kind of the case. Or Big Sister, if they allow me to dress and drag. Oh! Ouch! Well, I mean, being as that they're funded by the United Way, they cannot reject you for that basis alone.
That's only because CJ is an actor. He's an actor.
That's right. That's right. All right. UK, there's benefits for stuff like having children too. Yep. Kids, humbug, get off the lawn. Do not dress and drag. That was a joke. Well, what if you got a starring role in the remake of Tootsie? Would you dress and drag then? Okay. Also unrelated, but Librem 5 shipping date is confirmed. Really? That's cool. When is the shipping date? Is it going to be a train wreck? It might be. I don't know. Depends when the shipping date is. If it's 3 years out, it might not be a train wreck. If it's 6 months out, it might be a train wreck.
I mean, I'm hearing a lot more love being shown to the Pine phone than the Librem 5 these days.
Yeah, the Librem 5 hit too many roadblocks, and there were like, I believe their whole team left, and so they had to kind of start again from scratch, and so I don't know, it was crazy.
I've only heard about the Pine phone. I haven't actually seen one yet.
Oh, Farron gives us a link. Copy link address. Let's have a look at that link there. Librem 5. So this just came out. This just came out today, huh? It's iterative shipping schedule for the Librem 5.
So the Librem 5,
yeah, go ahead.
That's the $700 phone, isn't it?
I think they dropped the price down to like $500 or something.
Yeah, it was $700.
Okay, so the Aspen batch,
which
is
for
September
something
24th.
less than a flagship phone.
Yeah. So yeah, there's several batches that are going out. And the Aspen batch, if you were part of that, that's September 24th to October 22nd, all the way down to the last one, which says Q4 2020, which might mean never. No, it'll get out there eventually. Just don't expect it anytime soon, right? But yeah, excellent.
A Linux phone shouldn't be that difficult to engineer together at this day and age, since they use ARM processors. So do Raspberry Pis. There's Linux distros now that run on Raspberry Pi, so they should run on an ARM-based phone.
Yeah.
So you got half the battle right there nipped.
The challenge is getting all of the different circuitry working. So getting your SIM working, getting your all the different
phone part
working. Yeah, that's the biggest deal.
Yeah, the thing that I understand is that the phone part, which is the baseband part, that's the part that's proprietary. That's really difficult to get that open sourced.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely play a role in drag or play a gay person in a role straight, but it would still be an adventure. Yeah. Okay. It's going to be multiple batches. Yes. Also agreed to work in the skinny. I mean, I'm sure they'll never call me for that. But, I want a new Linux phone, but I'm not paying $700 for $200 hardware. Might have been born at night, but it wasn't last night. And that's the reason I'm not going to be getting me a Linux phone right out of the bat. Now, if I believe correctly, I think the Pine phone is scheduled to be significantly cheaper. Let me see if I can find info on the PinePhone. But that's why I want. I mean, if they want to give me one to review, I'll be glad to take one. But I won't be buying one anytime soon.
Yeah, the specs just are not up there for that price.
So, and I'm not up onto all the specs, but here's your specs on your PinePhone. We have an A64 quad-core SoC with Mali 400 MP2 GPU, 200 gigs of LPDDR3 RAM. The LCD it's a 6-inch LCD, 1440 by 720, 18:9 aspect ratio. Bootable micro SD, 16 gig eMMC. There's a digital video out, USB-C powered, BGN, single band hotspot capable Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4. There's a vibrator in it. RGB stacks.
Does it have a
LED.
headphone jack?
Let's see. Headphone jack. Yes, there's a headphone jack.
Yes.
Yes.
Bonus. I'm buying it.
I mean, I get though that especially with the Librem 5 that you're not just paying for the hardware, you're paying for the development costs that go into it as well. But then you look at something like PinePhone, where the PinePhone guy knows all the manufacturers and all distribution channels. They're getting it done for a lot cheaper, and so they're going to have so much of a hard time competing against the PinePhone.
I'm trying to see if I can find.
Well, let's hope that the PinePhone actually gets some traction.
Yeah, I think once we get one or two of these Linux phones, I really think they're just going to blow up. And
I wanted a Ubuntu phone, but I couldn't find one anywhere.
Well, the problem with the Ubuntu
I couldn't
phone,
even
though,
get a chance
is that
to look at it.
the Ubuntu phone was not Linux, though. It was Android. It was just a custom Android ROM. So it really wasn't a true Linux phone. It just had the Unity desktop on it.
Oh, no wonder it died.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I bought the Nexus 5X is because it was capable of running it. I could have flashed on it, but I'm looking at it going, this isn't even releasable, you know? And then I look at Plasma Mobile, that wasn't really released. I mean, they were there for experimental, but they weren't production level phones. That's why I went with Lineage, because it's production level phone. Looked at Google Pixel last week, may get an iPhone 6S for the replacement, which will have to be soon. There were some issues with the 6S line, though. I think you can still get the SEs, and actually, I believe Apple said the SEs, they're going to bring the SEs back into production again next year. I think the SE was one of the best modern Apple phones that's still capable of running the current stuff. I'd look into the SE. Lot fewer issues with the SE phones, and they have head jacks. Hello, Anna Rita. Greetings. Plus side, once it got past OS walk, seems like I might be able to finish this update to transfer the tool by the end of the week. Open source phone, sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Can't wait to see what people complain about when the PinePhone comes.
It looks like a pine cone.
That's right, man. PinePhone, PineCone, get it. I don't remember if Bendgate was the 6 or the 6S. It was one of those two. Maybe it was both. Jola Sailfish ties on Ubuntu Touch. So many failures. Don't have much hope for Librem. Yeah.
Anna, I don't know what Gola bears are. Do you mean koala bears? We've also got something called drop bears.
Yeah, I was looking at some pictures. You got some pretty nasty insects over there too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
spiders
Vince,
or insects?
Vince, is that barbecue on your end of the country, or is that the other end of the country from you?
That was the other end. So the funny thing that happened, I sent it over to Colin, PCTLC, and the funny thing was he said that he was working with somebody who already heard about the Facebook group for the revenge barbecue. before he even told his colleague. So it's already gone viral. Apparently, there are like 60,000 people who are going to attend or something. Let me just see what he said.
You know what? Those $60,000 should all just pitch in $5 or $10.
16,000.
16,000.
16,000.
They should just pitch in. They should pitch in $10 each, and the woman can go take that money and go buy herself a house in the middle of nowhere. That's what she needs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's on Colin's side of the country. So I said I'm gonna send you, mate, to go to the barbecue.
All right. Sounds good. Well, if you get a chance to go, though,
is the kangaroo tough?
Yeah, is the kangaroo tasty?
Kangaroo is a bit gamey.
Big game.
As a meat.
Okay. Well, DT
I prefer a pig
now,
any day.
Is a kangaroo
I don't
better
know if you've
or
heard
worse
about this, Tom?
covered in Vegemite?
Vegemite.
Oh, Vegemite makes everything better.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, what was that?
I came across some information on Facebook. Somehow somebody started something where they're going to rush Area 51 on September 30th.
Yeah, so
they have over 1 million people signed up to do this.
Yeah. I will be there, but I will not be wearing my disguise. I'm wearing hat now. I will be actually, because what happened is over in Area 51, they do have a few aliens over there, and some of our reptilian alien race are actually caught up in there. And we're actually, like, not only are we reptilian-like, but we are actually very chameleon-like. You will not see us. The military has this whole thing. They're going to be up there. They're going to be watching out. They are not going to see us go in and out, but we got 5 of us. I'm one of them. We're going to be in, picking up our colleague, and we're going to be out before anybody knows it. So we are rushing them on that date. But that's kind of the...
So you have heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone else is a decoy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, Area 51 is a big space
page. The guy that put up the original Facebook page in the event, which he said was a joke, it was actually an inside job it was actually the Greys did it, because there's more Greys being held hostage in Area 51 than there are reptilians. It was actually the Greys that started it. So he did that, and then everyone jumped on, and we just used it for that. And then us and the Greys, we don't associate too much with each other, just a little bit. And so with all of this, we're just going in and just going to help get our buddies out. The Greys don't have the chameleon-like skin, so they'll have a harder time getting in. But we're gonna assist them to get in and out. We're gonna, us aliens gotta stick together. So, give us your final words, guys. We're gonna wrap this one up for the night.
Area 51, I don't think I'm going. Ads on YouTube. YouTube, keep the ads general. Don't keep them targeted to a particular kid. Or else, I hope they come for your wallets, all of you.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, DT says, let's rush the military base. What could go wrong? They actually have officially shot people dead.
They have signs all over around there that say use of authorized something to kill somebody.
Use of deadly force.
Authorized forces.
Deadly force. So I think they've only shot and killed one person. Usually what they'll do is they'll use rubber bullets and arrest you, which is a huge fine, actually. Huge fine and some jail time for going in knowingly. But the one guy that they ended up killing, he went in and he was kind of nutsoid and drunk and whatever else, and he was being very aggressive, and so they just sniped him out. They just had somebody like, we're not dealing with him. Done. Didn't take long, and he didn't get far. I crack up Anna Rita with my alien race. Well, I am authorized to tell a little bit of truth from time to time, All right. Vince, your final thoughts? Unless you said them already and I missed them.
No. Supervise your kids. Watch them. Limit their screen time. I think that's very important, especially under a certain age. And the FTC, grow some kahunas and do something real.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We gotta feed my alien handler here. Also,
You know something? I'm all about that. Don't put your kids in front of the TV set, because as I was growing up, I was watching other parents that just plop their kid in front of the TV set with a cartoon on and leave them there all day long.
Yeah,
And that is sad.
I've seen some of those.
Yeah.
All right, hey, Katie,
Yeah.
let's not moon everybody. All right, we're gonna set you right here so that people can see your cuteness, not your butt, when you're eating. Okay, here, right here, right here. Okay, have people watch your cuteness. All right, let me go back to my full screen.
It's the reptilian's race pet.
Yes, this guy here is actually my handler. He's actually like I was inducted into the alien race, converted myself, but he's actually was born in the alien race.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I mean, with what DT said, are cats really better than kids? Because they handle you, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, people say that. Mine are actually very well trained. So, like, my brother's cats, man, they're all over the place. They're all over everywhere. They're on the counters. They're on the tables. They're in your plate if you're eating, like, if they're in their half of the house, they're only allowed in half of his house, but they don't really ever eat in the kitchen because the cats will be there. My cats are so highly trained, I can leave a big old fried steak right there on the plate, go upstairs, grab a bunch of things, come back 3 or 4 minutes later. They will not go near my food unless I actually specifically hand it to them. My cats are very well trained.
Or are they vegan?
They are
Yeah.
no, they are not vegan. I should probably put this camera back up there, so no, they are not vegan for sure. They do not complain about barbecues at all, nor do they complain about the kids outside playing basketball. So
Oh, the stupidity.
Yeah, and just FYI, we'll be streaming in about 45 minutes on my other channel. I posted that link right in there. And you guys can come on over there. We're going to be talking about the purpose of the parables. Why did Jesus actually speak in parables? It will be a surprising answer to you, by the way. All right, so I guess that'll wrap up our show today. So thanks for coming along, everybody. And Storm Area 51, I guess. I don't know. More of you guys there, the easier our job's going to be. I'm telling you.
No, don't do that. Bye.
Goodbye.
Waiting. All right.